January 1793. The blade of the guillotine fell, and with it, the head of Louis XVI. The king was dead. The monarchy abolished. France stood at the edge of a precipice, plunging into revolution, war, and chaos. In the midst of this storm, an obscure Corsican officer named Napoleon Bonaparte was about to take his first steps toward immortality. His rise would not only reshape France, but the course of world history itself. Videos like this take a lot of time for research and preparation. Please like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel. Napoleon's ascent did not begin on the battlefield. It began with the stroke of a pen. That same year, he published Le Souper de Beaucaire, a political pamphlet disguised as a casual conversation at an inn. In it, a soldier reasoned with a group of Marseille merchants who supported a rebellion against the revolutionary government in Paris. His argument was sharp and compelling. Division in the face of foreign enemies was nothing short of treason. The pamphlet's Jacobin tone and resolute stance echoed the philosophy of the radical government. Might makes right. It was this document that first caught the attention of those in power, marking him as a man to watch. Napoleon's story began on August 15, 1769, in the town of Ajaccio, Corsica. He was the second surviving son of Carlo and Marie Letizia Buonaparte, a family of Italian heritage with noble lineage but modest wealth. His father, a restless lawyer with revolutionary ideals, had once admired Corsican patriot Pasquale Paoli, while his mother was a woman of steely resolve. Under her strict discipline, the Buonaparte children learned resilience. 4 of her sons, Joseph, Louis, Jerome, and Napoleon, would one day wear crowns. The Bonaparte household, though humble, was no stranger to power. Among their influential guests was General de Marbeuf, the French governor of Corsica and a close family friend. Some whispered that he was the boy's real father, though no evidence ever supported this claim. What was undeniable, however, was that Marbeuf's patronage secured Napoleon a place at the Royal Military School of Brienne. Napoleon arrived at Brienne on April 23, 1779. At just 9 years old, he entered a world both privileged and unforgiving. The school, run by austere Minim priests, was not explicitly for officer cadets, but many of its students, Napoleon included, harbored military ambitions. Yet, as a foreigner with a thick Corsican accent and limited command of French, he was an outsider. He was mocked, ridiculed, and isolated. But adversity became his forge. From those painful years, he emerged with 3 defining traits: an insatiable love for books, a deep pride in Corsica, and an innate sense of leadership. He devoured history, mathematics, and strategy, idolizing conquerors of the past, and dreaming of one day leading his homeland to freedom. His potential did not go unnoticed. In 1783, Royal Inspector Monsieur de Carvalho wrote a revealing report on the young cadet. Monsieur de Bonaparte, Napoleon, born August 15, 1769. Height, 5 feet 3 inches. Constitution, excellent health, docile expression, mild, straightforward, thoughtful. Conduct most satisfactory, has always been distinguished for his application in mathematics. He is fairly well acquainted with history and geography. He is weak in all accomplishments: drawing, dancing, music, and the like. This boy would make an excellent sailor, deserves to be admitted to the school in Paris. Yet, the sea was not his calling. Instead, he chose the artillery, a branch where skill, not wealth, dictated success. In 1784, he secured a place at the École Militaire in Paris, where he refined his expertise in mathematics, geography, and fortifications. He also dabbled in fencing and dancing, though he never quite mastered the latter. Life in Paris was a brief period of enjoyment, marked by his friendship with Desmazis, one of his few close confidants. But joy was fleeting. Tragedy struck in 1785 when his father's death plunged the family into financial hardship. His brothers Joseph and Lucien returned to Corsica to support their mother, but Napoleon remained in Paris, determined to finish his studies. He passed his examinations and, in November 1785, was commissioned as a sous-lieutenant in the La Fère Artillery Regiment, stationed at Valence. The French army at this time was in decline. Recruiting was difficult, and for a young officer without wealth or connections, the future seemed bleak. Yet Napoleon embraced his role with relentless dedication. Training introduced him to the realities of a soldier's life, forging the rapport with common troops that would later define his leadership. In 1786, he was sent to help quell unrest in Lyon over an unpopular wine tax. It was a glimpse into the social unrest brewing across France. Then, in 1787, he returned to Corsica for the first time in 8 years. He sought extended leaves to stay there, delving into writing a history of his homeland, immersing himself in Corsican politics and reconnecting with family. But by June 1788, duty called him back to his regiment at Auxone, marking the beginning of 15 critical months that would shape his military genius. Auxone housed France's premier artillery training school, overseen by the esteemed Baron Dutheil, a veteran officer and artillery expert. Under his guidance, Napoleon's studies reached new heights. In August, he was appointed commander of the demonstration company, where he conducted daring experiments, testing the feasibility of firing mortar shells from standard cannons. It was a dangerous yet intellectually thrilling endeavor, one that placed him among the brightest military minds of the era. During this time, he also conducted his first strategic war games. Though he had no real troops under his command, he mapped out tactical maneuvers, immersing himself in the theories of great strategists like Jacques de Guibert, a military reformer whose writings would influence Napoleon's own campaigns. These were the formative moments that would later define his legendary tactics. The boy from Corsica, once mocked as an outsider, was sharpening his mind, waiting for an opportunity. And as France spiraled deeper into revolution, that opportunity was fast approaching. In the next parts, we dive into Napoleon's boldest moves and how he outmaneuvered kings, popes, and politicians to crown himself the emperor. Stay tuned for the rise of an empire.